How to stop being a people pleaser. Stoicism. There's a common belief that being a people pleaser is a sign of kindness and empathy. But have you ever wondered if it's actually a hidden trap that leads you away from your true self? Do you often find yourself drained, constantly trying to make others happy at the expense of your own well-being? Reflect for a moment. Has the approval of others become the benchmark for your own self-worth? Are you longing to regain your sense of freedom, self-assurance, and the courage to live on your own terms without the fear of judgment? In today's fast-paced and ever-demanding world, the habit of constantly pleasing others doesn't just blur the lines of your identity. It chips away at your self-respect. Stoic philosophy, though ancient, offers timeless wisdom that is incredibly relevant to overcoming this modern dilemma. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." For centuries, Stoicism has taught that true contentment and inner peace are found in living according to your own values, not in the endless pursuit of pleasing everyone around you. In this video, we're going to delve into 10 Stoic-inspired strategies that will empower you to stop being a people pleaser and start living a life of autonomy, confidence, and true purpose. Are you ready to shed the weight of others' expectations and embark on a journey where your values, not others' opinions, guide your life? Let's get started. Imagine a life where your self-worth isn't tied to the opinions of others, where you no longer crave compliments or external validation because you're secure in your own value. It's like being the captain of your own ship, confidently steering through the waves of life no matter how turbulent they may be. As Oscar Wilde wisely said, "To love oneself is the beginning of a lifelong romance." And really, who better to cherish and support you than you? When you think about it, being your own greatest supporter is not just empowering. It's essential for a fulfilling life. Self-confidence, my friend, is like the polished exterior of a magnificent house. It's the first thing others notice, and it draws them in. Have you ever observed how confident individuals naturally command more attention and respect? They carry an energy that's both positive and magnetic, a quiet assurance that comes not from arrogance but from a deep understanding of their own worth. This kind of confidence is what makes people gravitate toward them. It's what makes them stand out in a crowded room without even trying. It's about having that calm, firm belief in yourself that speaks louder than any words could. Now, let's get real. Having high self-esteem and self-confidence doesn't just make you more attractive to others. It also equips you to handle life's inevitable challenges and criticisms with grace. When your significant other doesn't seem to value you, it can feel like a punch to the gut. But with strong self-esteem, you're not easily shaken. Instead of taking it personally and feeling attacked, you can stay grounded, recognizing that the issue may not be with you at all. This perspective allows you to respond in a more balanced, assertive way, maintaining your well-being and emotional stability. It's the difference between reacting with hurt and anger and responding with calm confidence. So how do you cultivate this rock-solid self-esteem and dazzling self-confidence, especially through the lens of Stoicism? Let's break it down. First, embrace the idea that your worth is inherent. It's not something others grant you, but something you possess simply by being who you are. The Stoics believed in the power of self-reflection and inner virtue. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." In other words, your self-perception shapes your reality. If you constantly doubt yourself, you'll project that insecurity outward. But if you constantly remind yourself of your strengths and virtues, you'll naturally exude confidence. Another key element is practicing detachment from external outcomes. In modern life, this could mean not basing your happiness on whether someone likes you or whether you get that promotion. It's about finding contentment in the process rather than the outcome. Seneca put it brilliantly. "He who is brave is free." When you free yourself from the need for others' approval, you become truly confident and independent. This mindset shift is incredibly powerful. It allows you to engage with others from a place of strength rather than neediness. Now let's ground this in a modern story. Think about a successful entrepreneur. Let's call him John. John started his business with a clear vision and a strong belief in his abilities. Along the way, he faced countless rejections and criticisms, some even from close friends and family. But John didn't let those external opinions dictate his worth. Instead, he focused on his goals and trusted in his own judgment. Over time, his business flourished, and those same people who once doubted him began to admire his success. John's journey wasn't just about building a business. It was about building his self-confidence and self-worth, independent of what others thought. As you reflect on this, ask yourself, are there areas in your life where you're still seeking validation from others? How might your life change if you shifted that focus inward and started validating yourself instead? What if you could approach every situation with the quiet confidence of someone who knows their worth regardless of what others say or do? The lesson here is clear. Your self-esteem and confidence are the most valuable assets you have. They are the foundation upon which all your interactions and relationships are built. By cultivating a strong sense of self-worth, you not only improve your own life, but you also become someone others naturally respect and admire. And remember, this isn't about faking it until you make it. It's about genuinely embracing who you are and standing firm in your own values. Now let's explore today's 10 lessons together. 1. Understand the root cause. Have you ever found yourself caught in the endless cycle of trying to make everyone happy, only to feel drained and unfulfilled? If you're a man in the prime of your life, navigating the challenges of work, relationships, and personal growth, you might be familiar with the pressure to please others at the expense of your own well-being. But what if I told you that breaking free from this pattern is not only possible, but also essential for living a life of true purpose and integrity? Today, we'll delve into the Stoic wisdom that can help you stop being a people-pleaser and start living according to your own values, with practical insights that resonate with modern life. Understanding the root of why you feel compelled to please others is the critical first step in reclaiming your autonomy. To stop this cycle, you need to dig deep into your soul and confront the real motivations behind your actions. Is it the fear of rejection that drives you? Perhaps it's the desire for acceptance or the anxiety of facing criticism. These are tough questions, but they are essential. Ask yourself, why do I often feel like I have to suppress my true feelings to cater to others? What makes me feel that my own needs are less important? These questions might bring up uncomfortable truths, but facing them is crucial. You may have experienced situations where your self-worth became entangled with others' approval, or you might have grown up in an environment where pleasing others was seen as a virtue, a way to earn love, respect, or even just peace. But let's be honest. Constantly putting others' needs before your own often comes from a place of low self-respect, where your worth seems dependent on external validation. It's a hard reality to confront, but recognizing it is the first step toward change. The great Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely observed, "People are not disturbed by things, but by the view they take of them." When you understand that your fear of rejection or criticism is merely a perception created by your mind, it loses its power over you. This understanding allows you to see your people-pleasing tendencies not as an unchangeable part of your character, but as a learned behavior that can be unlearned. By identifying the root cause, you take the first powerful step toward breaking free from the chains of external validation and moving towards a life where you live true to your own values. This journey isn't easy, but it is necessary. To live a life of purpose, where your actions are guided by your principles rather than the opinions of others, you must be willing to confront your fears head-on. Think of it as a personal revolution, one where you overthrow the internal dictator of self-doubt and install a government of self-respect and integrity. This is where Stoicism becomes not just a philosophy, but a way of life. Marcus Aurelius, another great Stoic, once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." By shifting your mindset, by questioning why you feel the need to please others, you can begin to change your life. This change starts with self-awareness, but continues with consistent daily practice. In our modern world, where social media and societal expectations constantly pressure us to seek approval from others, the teachings of Stoicism are more relevant than ever. It's easy to get lost in the noise, to let the opinions of others shape our decisions and actions. But true freedom, the kind that brings lasting happiness, comes from within. It's about living a life that is in alignment with your values, not the fluctuating demands of those around you. This doesn't mean becoming selfish or ignoring others' needs. It means valuing your own needs and desires as much as you value those of others. It means having the courage to say no when something doesn't align with your values, and the strength to stand by your decisions even when they are unpopular. To do this, you must cultivate a mindset of self-respect. This is where the real work begins. You need to practice saying no, practice standing up for what you believe in, and practice living in a way that honors your own values. It's not about being rigid or unkind. It's about being true to yourself. Remember, as Seneca said, no man is free who is not master of himself. Mastery of self is the ultimate goal, and it begins with understanding why you seek to please others and deciding to change that. As you embark on this journey, remember that it's a process. There will be setbacks, moments of doubt, and times when you fall back into old habits. But every time you choose to honor your own needs, every time you decide to live according to your values, you take another step toward the life you were meant to live. A life of autonomy, confidence, and meaning, where you are no longer shackled by the need for external approval, but guided by your own inner compass. This is the essence of Stoicism, and it's the path to true freedom. So are you ready to stop being a people pleaser and start living your life with the integrity and strength that comes from within? If so, embrace the wisdom of the Stoics and begin today. The journey may be long, but the destination is worth every step. 2. Set clear boundaries. Setting clear boundaries in your relationships is crucial if you want to stop being a people pleaser and start living a life that honors your own values. Boundaries aren't just about saying no or keeping people at arm's length. They are about creating a space where you can thrive, protecting your time, your energy, and your well-being. Stephen Covey, in The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, reminds us that no one can hurt you without your consent, a sentiment that echoes the teachings of Stoicism. The Stoics believed in the importance of personal sovereignty, of being in control of your own mind and actions, regardless of external pressures. This is the foundation of setting boundaries, understanding that you have the right and the power to protect your space and time. Many of us fall into the trap of neglecting our own needs to please others, which can lead to a gradual erosion of self-esteem and leave us feeling lost and exhausted. Think about it. How often have you agreed to something that didn't align with your values just to avoid conflict or disappointment? When you consistently prioritize others over yourself, you start to lose sight of who you are and what you truly want. Setting boundaries is not about being selfish. It's about self-respect. It's about recognizing your worth and understanding that your time and energy are valuable. By setting clear boundaries, you assert your limits and ensure that others know where you stand, which ultimately leads to healthier, more respectful relationships. Consider a modern-day scenario. You're at work, buried under your own tasks, and a colleague asks for help with something that could easily be handled later. If you're always saying yes, eventually, you'll find yourself swamped with other people's work, unable to focus on your own priorities. Instead, practice setting boundaries by responding with, "I'd love to help, but I'm currently busy with my own tasks. Let's revisit this after I've finished my work." This approach is respectful, clear, and helps maintain the boundary without creating friction. It's not about shutting others out, but about ensuring that your needs are also being met. When you think about boundaries, don't imagine them as rigid walls that keep people out, but as permeable membranes that allow for healthy, respectful interactions. They are tools that enable you to connect with others without losing yourself in the process. By setting and maintaining boundaries, you are not just protecting your time and energy. You are reinforcing your values and ensuring that your life reflects what is truly important to you. This is the essence of living a life of integrity and purpose, as the Stoics would advocate. As you navigate your relationships, both personal and professional, remember that setting boundaries is an ongoing process. It requires courage, self-awareness, and practice. It might feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to saying yes to everyone, but the benefits are profound. You'll find that people respect you more when you are clear about your limits, and you'll start to feel more in control of your life. The key is to communicate your boundaries with kindness and firmness. Be honest about your needs, and don't be afraid to assert them. This doesn't mean that you become rigid or inflexible. Life requires a certain amount of give and take, but it does mean that you no longer compromise your values for the sake of others' comfort. Ask yourself this: when was the last time you set a boundary that truly reflected your values? If it's been a while, or if you've never done it, now is the time to start. Begin by identifying areas in your life where you feel overextended or taken for granted. These are often signs that your boundaries need strengthening. Once you've identified these areas, take small steps to assert your limits. It might be as simple as saying no to a social invitation when you'd rather have time to yourself, or as significant as renegotiating the dynamics of a key relationship in your life. Setting boundaries is an act of self-love and respect, and it's essential for living a life that is true to who you are. It's about creating a balance where you can give to others without losing yourself in the process. Remember, as the Stoics would say, the only thing you truly control is your own mind and actions. Everything else is outside of your influence. By setting boundaries, you are taking control of your life, ensuring that it aligns with your values and principles and paving the way for a more peaceful, meaningful existence. So, are you ready to set clear boundaries in your life? Take this step today, and you'll find that not only will you stop being a people pleaser, but you'll also start living a life that is authentically your own. If this resonates with you, let me know by liking this content. It's time to reclaim your space and live. 3. Prioritize your needs. In today's fast-paced world, where societal expectations and external pressures are constantly at play, the idea of prioritizing your own needs can often be misunderstood as selfish or arrogant. However, when viewed through the lens of Stoic philosophy, prioritizing your needs is not just a right. It's a fundamental responsibility. It's about living a life that is true to your values and principles and ensuring that you are strong enough to meet life's challenges. You might wonder, how can I put my needs first without feeling guilty? And why is it so crucial? To answer this, consider a simple yet powerful analogy. When you're on a plane and the oxygen masks drop, you're instructed to secure your own mask before assisting others. The reasoning is clear. You need to be breathing and conscious to effectively help those around you. The same principle applies to life. If you don't prioritize your well-being, how can you truly support and be there for others? Now think about your daily life. How often do you find yourself putting others' needs ahead of your own? How does it make you feel? Does it bring you genuine happiness, or does it leave you feeling depleted and unfulfilled? If you're constantly ignoring your own desires and needs to satisfy others, you're not really living your life. You're living someone else's version of it. The truth is, by prioritizing your needs, you take control of your life. You begin to understand what truly matters to you, what brings you joy, and where your limits are. This awareness allows you to make decisions that align with your core values, leading to a more fulfilling and balanced life. This approach is not about being selfish. It's about self-care. It's about making sure you're at your best, so that when you do give to others, you're doing so from a place of strength and abundance, not from a place of exhaustion and resentment. As the ancient Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly. By understanding and prioritizing your needs, you're not only enriching your own life, but also enhancing your capacity to positively influence those around you. When you're in a good place mentally, emotionally, and physically, you naturally emit positive energy, which can uplift and inspire others. Ask yourself, what are the things that genuinely bring you joy and satisfaction? What activities or pursuits align with your values? and help you grow as a person? By answering these questions, you'll start to see a clearer path forward. You'll begin to understand that prioritizing your needs isn't about neglecting others. It's about ensuring that you're equipped to handle life's demands while staying true to who you are. Prioritizing your needs is closely tied to identifying your values, which are the guiding principles that shape your actions and decisions. It's important to remember that setting priorities is an ongoing process. It requires continuous reflection and adjustment as your life circumstances change. But each time you choose to honor your own needs, you're not only respecting yourself, you're also setting a powerful example for others. You're demonstrating that it's possible to live a life that is both fulfilling and principled, a life where you don't have to compromise your well-being to meet external expectations. Think about the times when you've felt most fulfilled. Were those moments when you were true to yourself or when you were bending over backward to please others? The answer is likely clear. By putting your needs first, you're not just enhancing your own life, but you're also becoming a more authentic and reliable presence for those around you. After all, how can you genuinely support others if you're constantly sacrificing your own well-being? As you continue on your journey, keep in mind the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, another great Stoic philosopher, who said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." By prioritizing your needs, you're cultivating a mindset that values self-respect and inner peace. You're choosing to live a life that reflects your true self, rather than one that's dictated by the demands of others. This doesn't mean shutting out the world or disregarding others' needs. Rather, it's about finding a balance where you can give to others without losing yourself in the process. So I challenge you. What will you do today to prioritize your needs? How will you take the first step toward living a life that honors your values and principles? Remember, this is your life, and you deserve to live it fully, with intention and purpose. By making your needs a priority, you're not only investing in your own happiness, but also in the well-being of those around you. So, embrace this responsibility with confidence and watch how it transforms your life and the lives of others. Thank you for being part of today's video. Before we go any further, I want to take a moment to thank you for being an active participant in our community. Your thoughts and feedback are always welcome, so feel free to share them. And if you're new here, just drop a comment saying, "I am a newbie." If you've been with us for a while, go ahead and say, "I am Stoic." Your interaction is incredibly motivating for us and helps us continue to grow together. Let's keep moving forward on this journey, shall we? 4. Identify your values. In a world where societal expectations and the pressure to conform often dictate our actions, many men find themselves caught in the exhausting cycle of trying to please everyone around them. But what if the key to true fulfillment lies not in bending to the will of others, but in standing firm in your own values? Today, we will explore how identifying and living by your values can empower you to break free from the need to please others and lead a life of purpose and authenticity, guided by the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. Identifying your values is one of the most liberating journeys you can undertake. It's about delving deep into your inner world to discover the principles, beliefs, and goals that truly matter to you. This process is not just a mental exercise. It's a transformative experience that grounds you in a clear sense of purpose, shielding you from the relentless pull of external expectations and pressures. When you are crystal clear about your values, you no longer find yourself swayed by the fleeting opinions of others. Instead, you lead a life that is directed by a compass of your own making, rooted in what you genuinely believe in and aspire to achieve. This internal clarity not only shapes the path you walk, but also fortifies your resolve against the temptation to please others at the expense of your own integrity. Think about it. How many times have you felt compelled to say yes to something that didn't align with your beliefs, just to avoid disappointing someone? How did that make you feel afterward? Likely, it left you with a sense of unease, a feeling of being disconnected from yourself. This discomfort isn't just in your mind. It affects your entire being, undermining your self-esteem and eroding your sense of self-worth. But when you take the time to identify and commit to your values, saying no to requests that don't align with them becomes not just easier, but empowering. You begin to understand that declining such requests isn't a sign of disrespect toward others. It's a powerful act of self-respect, a clear acknowledgement that your values are non-negotiable. Consider a moment in your life when you were under pressure to please someone, even though it meant going against your own principles. Reflect on the mental and emotional toll that situation took on you. That internal conflict not only diminishes your self-worth, but also creates a ripple effect that can impact every aspect of your life. However, when you stand firm in your values and refuse to compromise them, you experience a profound sense of strength and confidence. This is the power of living a value-driven life. It transforms the way you see yourself and how you interact with the world around you. Clarifying your values is not just about listing out what's important to you. It's about deeply understanding what truly drives you, what you are passionate about, and what you are willing to stand up for, even in the face of opposition. When you are clear about your values, decision-making becomes a straightforward process. You no longer feel the need to bend or twist yourself to accommodate others, because you know what aligns with your true self and what doesn't. Living without this clarity can leave you feeling adrift, constantly adjusting your sails to the whims of others, losing sight of who you are and what you want in the process. It's like trying to navigate a ship without a destination in mind. You may move, but you won't get anywhere meaningful. The Stoic philosopher Seneca wisely noted, "There is no favorable wind for the sailor who doesn't know where to go." This quote perfectly encapsulates the importance of knowing your values. When you have a clear destination, your values, every challenge, every obstacle, becomes an opportunity for growth rather than a threat to your identity. You stop seeing the opinions of others as something to conform to and start viewing them as external forces that have no bearing on your internal compass. Living by your values is not always easy. It requires a level of self-awareness that many people shy away from because it demands honesty and sometimes difficult introspection. It also requires patience, as this is a journey that evolves over time, and courage, as standing firm in your values can sometimes mean facing internal conflicts and external pressures. But this journey is undeniably worth it. By committing to a life guided by your values, you not only foster a stronger sense of self, but also create a life that is authentically yours. In a world that often encourages conformity, it takes courage to say, "This is who I am, and these are the values I live by." But when you do, you gain more than just a sense of self. You gain the ability to steer your life with confidence regardless of the storms you may face. So ask yourself, what are the values that define you? How can you start living in a way that honors them every day? As you reflect on these questions, remember that this process is not about achieving perfection, but about making progress, about becoming more aligned with who you truly are, one decision at a time. The journey of identifying and living by your values is the most empowering step you can take toward breaking free from the need to please others. It's about reclaiming your life from the pressures of external expectations and living in a way that is true to you. So, as you move forward, let your values be the guideposts that lead you to a life of purpose, fulfillment, and strength. As you do, you'll find that not only do you grow stronger, but you also inspire others to do the same. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Let your thoughts be guided by your values, and your life will be colored with the richness of authenticity and integrity. 5. Assess requests. Stoic philosophy teaches us the importance of pausing and carefully evaluating each request before we commit. This isn't just about managing your time better. It's about living in alignment with your values and ensuring that you're not being pulled in directions that don't serve your true self. When someone asks you for a favor, it's crucial to take a moment to reflect. Are they genuinely in need, or could they be taking advantage of your kindness? Is this someone who often turns to you for help, yet rarely reciprocates when you need support? It's easy for people to rely on the generosity of others, especially when they know that person is unlikely to refuse. But this can lead to a one-sided relationship that drains your energy and diverts you from your own goals. By assessing requests thoughtfully, You maintain control over your life and protect yourself from being swayed by external pressures. Each time you face a request, ask yourself, does this align with my goals and values? Is this truly necessary, or am I being pulled into something that doesn't serve my best interests? If the answer is no, then it's perfectly acceptable and indeed necessary to decline. Saying no isn't a rejection of the person making the request. It's an affirmation of your own boundaries and priorities. This doesn't mean you should never help others, but it does mean that your assistance should be given consciously and purposefully, not out of a reflexive desire to please. Let's consider a common scenario. A close friend asks for your help with a personal project. Before you agree, take a step back and think, do you have the time and energy to give this project the attention it deserves? Will helping with this project take you away from your own responsibilities or goals? Is this something they can manage on their own? Or are they depending on you because they know you're likely to say yes? By asking these questions, you're not just evaluating the request, you're also reinforcing your commitment to living according to your values. If you decide that you need to decline, remember that this doesn't diminish your friendship. On the contrary, it shows that you respect both yourself and the relationship enough to be honest and clear about your limits. This practice of assessing requests is a vital skill in living a Stoic life. It allows you to ensure that your actions are aligned with your principles and that you're dedicating your time and energy to what truly matters. When you start to apply this method, you'll find that you're not only more in control of your life, but also more at peace, knowing that you're living authentically rather than being swept along by the demands of others. As we reach the midpoint of our journey today, I want to thank you for being here. Your commitment to learning and growing through Stoic philosophy is what makes this journey meaningful. If you've found value in these lessons, please take a moment to like and share this content with your friends and family. By spreading these ideas, we can all contribute to building a world where more people live with clarity, purpose, and peace. And if you're ready to take the next step on this path, leave a comment below saying, I am ready to live for myself. This simple declaration is a powerful affirmation of your commitment to living a life true to your values, free from the pressures of people-pleasing. Together, we'll continue this journey, learning how to embody the principles of Stoicism in every aspect of our lives, with the next 5 lessons guiding us further along the way. 6. Conflict is not the problem. In life, conflict is something we all encounter. Yet for those who constantly strive to please others, conflict can feel like a personal failure, a sign that they somehow weren't good enough to maintain peace and harmony. This mindset often leads to avoiding conflict at any cost, even if it means sacrificing your own values, needs, and well-being. But let me ask you, is avoiding conflict really the right solution, or is there a better way to approach it? According to Stoic philosophy, conflict isn't the enemy. It's an opportunity for growth and self-discovery. The Stoics teach us that the problem lies not in conflict itself, but in how we perceive and respond to it. Instead of running from it, we should meet conflict with calmness, reason, and a sense of purpose, seeing it as a natural part of life that can help us strengthen our character and affirm our values. One of the reasons many of us try to please others is rooted in the fear of negative emotions that conflict might bring into our relationships. We worry that if we say no, the other person will judge us, turn their back on us, or even abandon us altogether. But here's a crucial point to consider. If a relationship only survives because you're constantly compromising your values, time, and energy to avoid conflict, is that relationship really worth maintaining? The Stoics would argue that true relationships are built on mutual respect and understanding, not on a constant need to appease one party at the expense of the other. When you learn not to fear conflict, you start to see it for what it truly is, a way to test and strengthen your relationships. If saying no to something that doesn't align with your goals leads to conflict, perhaps that conflict is revealing something important about the nature of that relationship. Facing conflict head-on with a rational and calm mindset allows you to let go of the unhealthy need to please everyone around you. You begin to realize that conflict isn't necessarily a sign of failure. Rather, It's a chance to stand up for your principles and to cultivate relationships that are more authentic and meaningful. As Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher, once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." If you can change the way you think about conflict, seeing it as an opportunity rather than a threat, you can transform the way you experience life. Think about a time when you turned down someone's request because it didn't align with your values or because you simply didn't have the time and energy to fulfill it. Did that decision lead to conflict? And if so, how did you handle it? Were you able to face the situation with calmness and clarity? Or did the fear of conflict tempt you to give in? Reflecting on these moments is vital because they help us understand how we handle such situations and whether we are living in accordance with our values or merely trying to avoid discomfort. Remember, conflict is not something to be feared. It's a natural part of life and an essential element in building strong, honest relationships. By embracing conflict and addressing it with the wisdom and tranquility that Stoicism encourages, you not only protect your own integrity, but also set the stage for deeper, more meaningful connections with others. This doesn't mean seeking out conflict unnecessarily, but it does mean being willing to stand your ground when it matters, knowing that true harmony comes from mutual respect, not from constant appeasement. So, the next time you're faced with a difficult decision or a potential conflict, pause and ask yourself, am I avoiding this because I fear the discomfort of conflict, or am I willing to face it in order to live true to my values? Share your experiences with conflict. How have you navigated these challenging situations, and what have you learned about yourself in the process? I'd love to hear your stories and insights, so feel free to leave a comment below. By engaging with these experiences, we can all learn to approach conflict with the calm and clarity that Stoic philosophy champions, ultimately leading us to a life that is not only more authentic, but also more fulfilling. If you've made it this far, you're truly committed to reclaiming your life. Drop a comment saying, "I am free," to show you're dedicated to breaking the cycle of people-pleasing. Stay tuned. There's so much more to come on this journey of self-empowerment. 7. Learn to say no. Imagine a day where you're constantly bombarded with requests from colleagues, friends, and family, each one pulling you in a different direction. By the end of the day, do you feel drained, overwhelmed, and perhaps even a bit resentful? If you're someone who often says yes to avoid disappointing others, you're not alone. But what if I told you that learning to say no is not only essential for your well-being, but also a powerful way to reclaim control of your life? In our daily lives, it's all too easy to get caught up in a whirlwind of demands and requests from those around us. Whether it's a colleague asking for a favor, a friend needing a hand, or a family member seeking support, the pressure to say yes can be overwhelming. But what happens when you continually say yes just to keep others happy? You quickly find yourself stretched thin, exhausted, and, most importantly, disconnected from your own needs and desires. This is why learning to say no is such a crucial skill. It's not just about managing your time. It's about protecting your sense of self and ensuring that your life is guided by your values, not by the expectations of others. Stoic philosophy offers timeless wisdom that helps us navigate these challenges. The Stoics teach us to set clear boundaries, prioritize our own needs, and recognize our intrinsic value. These principles form the foundation of a life lived with purpose and integrity, giving us the strength to say no when it's necessary. When you say no, you're not being disrespectful or unkind. Rather, you're demonstrating self-respect and exercising self-control. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." By learning to say no, you take a significant step toward mastering your own life, rather than allowing others to dictate your actions. Before agreeing to any request, it's essential to ask yourself, do I genuinely want to do this? Does this align with my goals and values? These questions are key to making decisions that honor your true self and help you avoid falling into the trap of people-pleasing. Saying yes to everything can lead to a life that feels busy, yet unfulfilling, where you're constantly chasing other people's priorities instead of your own. On the other hand, learning to say no helps you focus on what truly matters and brings meaning to your life. It allows you to create space for the activities, relationships, and pursuits that resonate with your values and contribute to your personal growth. Reflect on the last time you agreed to something you didn't really want to do. How did that make you feel? If you felt regret or frustration, it's likely because you surrendered control over your time and energy to please someone else. Remember, every time you say no, you're not just protecting your schedule, you're defending your values and shaping the life you want to live. The Stoics remind us that true freedom and happiness come from our ability to control our emotions and decisions, rather than being swayed by external pressures. Saying no is a vital part of this journey toward self-mastery. When you have the courage to refuse requests that don't align with your values and goals, you'll discover a newfound strength and confidence. You'll no longer feel like a passenger in your own life, but rather the driver, steering toward the destinations that matter most to you. Moreover, saying no with grace and without excuses enhances your integrity and reinforces the boundaries that are essential for a balanced and fulfilling life. This isn't about becoming inflexible or unkind. It's about making choices that reflect who you truly are. Every time you say no to something that doesn't serve your best interests, you're saying yes to your own well-being, your own goals, and your own values. It's a practice that, over time, will not only make you stronger and more confident, but also happier and more at peace with the life you're living. So, as you navigate your day and face the inevitable requests that come your way, take a moment to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, is this something I really want to do? Does this align with the life I'm trying to build? If the answer is no, give yourself the permission to decline. By doing so, you're not just saying no to a request. You're saying yes to yourself, and that's the most important yes of all. 8. Avoid making excuses. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This profound quote underscores the importance of being honest with both others and yourself, especially when it comes to setting boundaries and saying no. In a world where we are often tempted to make excuses to avoid uncomfortable situations, Aurelius's wisdom reminds us that true integrity lies in facing situations with straightforwardness and honesty. When you avoid making excuses, you not only stay true to your values, but also maintain your self-respect and confidence, which are essential for living a fulfilling life. Consider a common situation. A friend asks for your help, but you don't have the time or the inclination to assist. It's easy to fall into the habit of making excuses, telling them you're too busy with work or that you have other commitments, even when those reasons aren't entirely true. But let me ask you this. How do you feel after giving such an excuse? Often, you might feel a sense of discomfort, knowing that you weren't completely honest. Now think about how it would feel to simply tell the truth, that you need time for yourself or have other plans. This approach, while possibly uncomfortable at first, usually leaves you feeling more at ease and in control. The truth frees you from the mental burden of maintaining a pretense, and it allows you to remain aligned with your values. Moreover, when you start making excuses, you inadvertently open the door for others to question or challenge your reasons. They might try to adjust their request to fit the excuse you've given, which can lead to more pressure on you to comply. On the other hand, when you decline honestly and without excuses, you send a clear signal that your decision is firm and based on your own truth. This approach not only helps to build trust and respect in your relationships, but also reinforces your own sense of self-worth. People will recognize that when you agree to something, it's because you genuinely want to, not because you felt cornered or manipulated. This makes your yes more meaningful, and you're no more respected. In our modern lives, where the pressure to please others can be overwhelming, it's easy to fall into the trap of justifying our decisions with excuses. But consider the impact this has on your integrity and your peace of mind. Do you want to live a life where your actions are guided by honesty and authenticity? Or do you prefer to continue navigating through a web of justifications and half-truths? This is a critical question to ask yourself because the answer will help you see your life, and the way you want to live it, much more clearly. By avoiding excuses and embracing the truth, you not only gain respect from others but also strengthen your own sense of self. You become someone who is trusted and valued because you stand by your decisions with integrity. This is the essence of living a life that is true to your values and principles. It's about being honest, not just with others, but with yourself, ensuring that your actions reflect your beliefs and that your words carry the weight of truth. So the next time you're faced with a request that doesn't align with your values or your availability, resist the urge to make an excuse. Instead, speak your truth with kindness and firmness. Not only will this simplify your life, but it will also empower you to live in a way that is consistent with your highest self. In doing so, you'll find that you no longer feel the need to justify your decisions, because your life will be a reflection of your true values, not of the expectations or pressures of others. This shift, though subtle, can lead to profound changes in how you interact with the world and how you see yourself within it. The choice is yours. Do you want to live authentically, grounded in truth and self-respect, or do you want to continue the cycle of excuses that only serve to distance you from your true self? The path of honesty, as challenging as it may sometimes seem, is the one that leads to greater peace, confidence, and fulfillment. And in choosing this path, you not only honor your own values, but also inspire others to do the same. 9. Accept that you can't please everyone. Accepting that you can't please everyone is a crucial step in freeing yourself from the exhausting cycle of constantly trying to satisfy others. This is a fundamental truth emphasized by Stoic philosophy, which teaches us to focus on what we can control and to let go of what we cannot. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, wisely wrote, "There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will." This includes the opinions and satisfaction of others, things that lie entirely outside our control. So, why waste your energy trying to manage what you can never truly influence? Picture a life where your every move is dictated by the desire to please everyone around you. It's like walking a tightrope, constantly balancing and stressing over each step, terrified that a single misstep could send you tumbling. But here's the truth. No one can make everyone happy all the time. Yet many of us still try, driven by a fear of rejection, judgment, and an insatiable need for acceptance. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself why? Perhaps it's because we've been conditioned to believe that our worth is tied to how others perceive us. However, the reality is that true acceptance and self-worth come from within, not from external validation. We need to recognize that we cannot control what others think or feel about us. The only thing within our control is our own reaction to these thoughts and feelings. Ask yourself, are the people you're bending over backward to please really worth the sacrifice of your own happiness and peace of mind? Consider the life of Socrates, the ancient Greek philosopher who was condemned to death for questioning the status quo and challenging societal norms. Socrates didn't live to please the powerful or the masses. He lived according to his own principles and beliefs, even when it cost him his life. His story is a powerful reminder that staying true to yourself and your values is far more important than winning the approval of others. It's important to understand that accepting you can't please everyone is not a sign of defeat or weakness. It's a profound expression of inner freedom and strength. It's about shifting your focus from seeking external approval to finding contentment within yourself. When you stop worrying about how others perceive you and start listening to your own needs and desires, you begin to live a more authentic and fulfilling life. So let me ask you this. Do you really believe that it's worth sacrificing your own well-being to meet the expectations of others? Or would you rather live a life that is true to your values, even if it means not everyone will like you? As you reflect on this, remember that the path to inner peace and happiness begins with accepting that you cannot control others' opinions. Instead, focus on what you can control: your own thoughts, actions, and reactions. This shift in mindset is the essence of Stoic wisdom and the key to living a life of purpose and integrity. So, do you agree with this perspective? If so, I encourage you to embrace it fully and take a step towards prioritizing your own happiness. Comment "Please myself" below if you're ready to make this change. If you have a different view, I'd love to hear it. Let's discuss it together. The journey to self-acceptance and inner peace is deeply personal, but it's one that we can all embark on with courage and clarity. Thank you so much for being here in today's video on how to stop being a people pleaser through the lens of Stoicism. I'm curious, what strategies have you found most effective in overcoming the habit of people pleasing? Have you applied any Stoic principles to help you stay true to your values? I'd love to hear about your experiences, so feel free to share them in the comments below. And if you're not sure what to write, simply comment, "I'm ready to embrace Stoicism," to let us know you're on this journey with us. 10. Start with small challenges. Ever feel like you're trapped in a cycle of constantly trying to please others, leaving little room for your own needs and desires? If the idea of breaking free from this cycle feels overwhelming, don't worry. Change doesn't have to happen overnight. In fact, it often starts with the smallest of steps. Today, we'll explore how taking on small challenges can gradually build your confidence, strengthen your decision-making skills, and ultimately help you reclaim control over your life. If the 9 mindset changes we've discussed so far seem overwhelming, take heart. You don't have to tackle everything at once. The key to lasting change is to start small, building a strong foundation for your ability to make decisions that honor your true self. By beginning with small challenges, you're setting yourself up for success in the long run. Each time you say no to a minor request, you're not only reinforcing your confidence but also strengthening your belief in your own self-control. These small victories accumulate over time, making it easier to face larger demands without feeling the pressure to please others. Consider a simple example: declining a dinner invitation when you'd rather spend the evening recharging on your own. This might seem like a small action, but it has a significant impact on how you manage your time and energy. It's a way of signaling to yourself that your needs are important and that it's okay to prioritize them. As you grow more comfortable with saying no to small requests, you'll find that facing bigger challenges becomes less daunting. But why are these small challenges so crucial? Human behavior tends to follow established patterns, which is why sudden, drastic changes can feel impossible. Just as it would be difficult to change a deeply ingrained habit like brushing your teeth, altering a lifelong habit of people-pleasing can't happen overnight. Small challenges serve as the stepping stones that gradually shift your thinking and your perception of yourself. They help you understand that pleasing others is not the ultimate goal of life. Rather, living in alignment with your values and principles is what truly matters. Starting with small challenges is also a powerful way to build your self-esteem and self-confidence. Each time you successfully decline a request that doesn't align with your needs, you gain a little more confidence in your ability to handle larger, more complex situations. You start to realize that you don't need to constantly seek approval from others to live a fulfilling and self-sufficient life. This gradual process of self-empowerment helps you break free from the prison of others' expectations, allowing you to live a life that is authentic and true to who you are. So, are you ready to take on these small challenges and stop trying to please everyone? Remember, each small step you take is a significant stride towards achieving true freedom and happiness. Your life should not be dictated by the judgments or expectations of others, but by the values and principles you choose to uphold. It's time to stop imprisoning yourself in the expectations of others and start living a life where you are in control of your emotions and decisions. Saying no can be difficult, especially when you've spent a lifetime saying yes, but it's an essential part of protecting your self-esteem and personal values. Ask yourself, Do you want to continue living a life filled with stress and pressure, or do you want to embrace a life of freedom, autonomy, and peace? Every decision you make is an opportunity to assert your values and live true to your unique identity. By applying the principles of Stoic philosophy, you'll begin to notice a positive shift in your life. You'll discover an inner strength you didn't know you had, gain confidence in your decisions, and feel more at peace with the choices you make. Courageously step through the door to personal freedom and start living a life full of self-respect and self-love. You deserve it. Each small challenge you overcome is a powerful affirmation of your commitment to yourself. As you continue on this journey, you'll find that what once seemed overwhelming becomes manageable, and what once seemed impossible becomes second nature. The path to personal freedom is not without its obstacles, but with each small victory, you're building a life that is truly your own. So take that first step today and begin the journey towards a life of authenticity, strength, and inner peace. As you continue on your journey, remember that the principles of Stoic philosophy aren't just ideas to ponder. They are tools that can truly transform your life. By embracing these practices, you're not just learning how to stop being a people pleaser. You're taking significant steps toward living a life of greater fulfillment, peace, and authenticity. Every time you prioritize your values, set clear boundaries, or courageously say no, you're reclaiming control over your life and reinforcing your self-worth. It's not always easy, but it's incredibly rewarding. The small, consistent changes you make today can lead to profound shifts in how you experience the world and interact with others. Thank you for investing your time in watching this video and for your dedication to personal growth. Your willingness to engage with this content shows that you're serious about making meaningful changes in your life. If you found these methods helpful, I encourage you to share them with your friends and family. By doing so, you're not only helping them on their journey, but you're also contributing to a community of individuals striving to live with purpose and integrity. Remember, you don't have to walk this path alone. Building a support system of like-minded people can make a significant difference in your journey. I'd love to hear from you. What resonated with you the most? Which of the 10 methods do you feel will make the biggest impact on your life? Your feedback is invaluable, and it helps us create content that truly serves you. Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Your insights could be the spark that helps someone else on their path to personal freedom. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe to Stoic in Your Life, so you never miss out on more content designed to empower you to live with strength, wisdom, and purpose. As we wrap up, I want to remind you that this journey is ongoing. There will be challenges and setbacks, but with each small victory, you're building a life that is truly your own. A life where you are in control, not dictated by the expectations of others. So, take these principles and apply them in your daily life. Observe the changes in how you feel and how others respond to your newfound strength and confidence. Remember, the path to personal freedom is paved with small, intentional steps. I look forward to seeing you on the next exciting journey. Until then, stay strong, stay true to yourself, and keep striving for the life you deserve.